And let me get back to where I was. Tired, exhausted. Even when you're in the midst of just all kinds of people who love you, sometimes you can feel alone. Sometimes you can feel like no one understands what you're going through specifically. And you feel like no matter how hard you try to communicate with these people that love you, they couldn't possibly understand what it is that you're feeling, what it is that you see that they can't see, that you feel like is an important thing to address for you, but then they don't, and then no one understands why you're doing what you're doing. But you know deep down in your heart that you need to do what you're doing, that you need to stay focused and on task. And so it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks about it or how anybody else feels about it. But then at the end of that, when you're in it and you're like looking and you're saying, I did all these things that I knew I was supposed to do, you're looking back and you're saying, I'm the only one that understands why I did all these things that I needed to do. And I'm starting to question myself. And it's like, you got to take a step back and you got to say, why did I do what I did? And what information did I have at that point? And what information do I have now that helps me go forward? That's what you have to do. And you have to say this. Remember this. No matter how much it feels like everyone is against you when you're in that moment where you're just like, I'm making a decision and I have to do this. Nobody understands me and I'm going forward. You get into that moment. It's crunch time. You feel like it's you against every aspect of reality and you're holding it all together because you know you have to, because you've been given a mission by your own heart or by whatever it is that you believe in. You've been given this task that you feel like you have to accomplish. And sometimes it's for someone else and sometimes it's for yourself and sometimes it's a global thing. We have lots of examples in history of people who've had that global task that have given themselves to it. And we make them heroes because they stuck to their task, the thing that they knew they had to do, even though everything came crushing in on them, just like it's come crushing in on you right now. Even though they felt so alone and they felt like no one understood them, they held true to their task and they became our heroes. You've decided in your heart who your hero is, and that's kind of who you are. So at the end of the day, when you feel like you're all alone, just remember this. Everyone else has the same experience as you all. Other people are having similar experiences and they're totally different. They're not the same experience. They couldn't possibly be the same experience. The cool thing about this planet that we're currently inhabiting is there's about 6 to 7 billion different experiences and not a single one of them is the same, and every single one of them feels alone at some point. And every single one of them feels like they can't share love at some point. And every single one of them feels like they have to put up so many walls that no one could ever see who they are. And just the thing to remember is that the people who say they love you, they do. They do. And maybe they don't always love you like you need them to. And maybe you don't love them like they need you to. But if you say you love them, if you say that, unless you know very full well in your head that you're lying to manipulate them, if you say that you love them, then there's a part of you that loves them. So don't question your own feelings or your emotions towards them, and don't question their emotions towards you. That doesn't mean that you have to let them in to every single little door that you open so that people can destroy everything that you know that you need to protect. I've been working on a painting all week. It was a painting that I call Perspectives, and it's a horrible painting. I'm a horrible painter, but I paint my heart, and I painted it was just a bunch of different glasses that I had drunk out of, whichever one is correct. Please tell me in the chat. That's fine. It was a bunch of glasses, and each glass over the weekend, it was like at the end of me being sick for 4 days laid up in bed. So at the end of the weekend, I started drinking, and I just, this first glass I had, I drank, I think, out of for like 2 days. And it was just, water and lemons or something. And I sat there and I was like, I loved the heart that I had when I was drinking this water, And then I went to the next glass that I had, and it was like soda or tea or coffee. It was coffee. And I loved it. And I'm like, this gave me energy. And I woke up in the morning and I was hanging out with the people that I loved. And it's like, so I painted a picture with just a bunch of different glasses on it. And it's just about how our perspective changes every day. And every day is a new perspective. Every day is a new morning. And last night was really rough for me, is the moral of the story. And that's what I started talking about. And I laid down, I rested, I took a deep breath and I'm awake. I'm still alive, guys. I'm still alive. I'm going. We're going. That's not a cry for help. We all have to wake up every morning and decide that we're going to go for it, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what it looks like, because at the end of the day, we have a task and others have a tasks. And the cool thing is when we can get a glimpse out of our peripherals of those tasks that other people have, then we can run together and we can move together and we can trust a little bit each other and we can learn to love. And that's what it's all about. It's about learning to love. Friends, I have been so serious this morning. I needed to get things off of my heart, but there's just this was how I was going to share it. So if you've joined me today to watch video games and I have ruined your day by speaking about emotional and deep and heavy things, you're welcome.